Welcome to the UDP Broadcast, a podcast where a group of friends get together and talk about gaming-related topics and offering both informed and uninformed opinions. I'm Luminary, and I'm accompanied today by Not Cajun, Crickets, the Eternal Barcode, Imi,
Hello, I'm about to. Oh, hey, look, someone's on fire. I'm committing war crimes.
and
That's a lot of bodies.
with the best stories on the planet, and from the Emerald Dream, Reina, the Crit Chicken.
Yeah, I me. Put the game down before I continue to chirp you.
I have been told.
Crit being the OG Twitter. All right, so what do we got?
Yeah, what are we talking about tonight? There was a lot.
There was a lot. We missed last week. Cleverly titled podcast is still cleverly titled, so SMORT. But before we go into that, we've got words.
We do. 10% of all the revenue generated by the show, whether that's from bits, subs, or donations, goes directly to the Trevor Project. And Ping, our wonderful mascot, has more details.
The Trevor Project is the leading organization working to end LGBTQ youth suicide in the US and beyond. The non-profit operates several programs to help prevent and respond to the public health crisis of LGBTQ youth suicide, including 24/7 free crisis services, research, advocacy, education, and peer support.
Thank you, Ping. And as a reminder, this is an opinion show. We have opinions and we give them freely, both informed and uninformed. They do not reflect any corporate policy for any entity that we may be associated with or employed by. In other words, we're poor, don't sue us.
If you try to take my money, I'm going to take your bandwidth.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what we can talk about.
Oh,
Talk about lawsuits.
which one do you want to touch on?
I want to do the epic one.
Go for it. I don't know about that one.
You
Oh, wait.
should
Yeah, I
know.
do. Hold on. Sorry. There's just a lot
Something
happened
about
last 2 weeks.
Fortnite cheaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Hey.
don't fuck around and you won't find out, I guess. Basically, Epic sued a guy by the name of Repulse God for cheating in a tournament. So he walked away with a bunch of money, I guess, for a moment, until Epic sued him. They banned him for life, and he also had to publicly apologize for it. Like, imagine if a nun was chasing you with a ruler. It's like, my bad.
Yeah, that's super awesome. It takes a certain level of stupidity to cheat in a tournament. But it's even funnier when you get called out and have to make a public apology after being sued for your prize money. Like, that's pretty ballsy on them to sue him, and good on them. Good on Epic for suing that guy to get their money back.
Yeah, cheating's a
Because
huge thing, man.
yeah, that's like, if you don't do anything about it, you're basically condoning cheating. So by at least sitting there and suing to recover that money, you're putting people on notice that you do stupid shit, you're gonna lose your money, and we'll see you in court.
The good thing is they made it so that the winnings actually went towards charities.
Hell
I can
yeah.
stand behind that because I also stand behind a charity. We all stand behind a charity here, the Trevor Project.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this article's
That's
pretty short by PC Gamer too. It says Epic settled with the dirty rotten cheater who made off with a chunk of cash for the 2023 Fortnite Championship Series, making them return the prize money. Post an apology video to their YouTube channel. Sadly, the player in question, who in about of nominative, and mind you, this is verbatim from PC Gamer. Nominative determinism goes by the handle Morgan Repulse God. Bamford didn't have the stones to deliver their apology in person, choosing instead to post a 15-second video of text that reads. So he pretty much
video text.
I used to do that
What
when I
a
would talk over
loser.
it. But let's see, it says, "Hey everyone, this is Repulse God. I shared my Epic Games account with another user, Forbes, to qualify for the 2024 Fortnite Championship Series Grand Finals. My actions violated Epic's rules. I was disqualified from the tournament. Epic took legal action against me, and now I'm banned from participating in Fortnite tournaments forever. I also have to pay a monetary settlement, which includes the prize money I received but did not win fairly, which Epic will donate to charity. Cheating in tournaments ruins the fun for the players who earn their spot in tournaments, and I apologize to the Fortnite community for my actions. I won't ever cheat in Fortnite again. Well, obviously you won't. You're not even allowed back at tournaments.
Well, he'll just share a different account. Sorry, I'm gonna call bullshit. I highly doubt they shared their account. And the reason I say that, and before the internet nerds get all up and cranky, which they can just go outside and touch grass. As part of my job throughout my career in the IT world, I have worked on investigations, and it's always the same thing. I didn't do the dumb. I got caught, but I swear it wasn't me. When your hand is in the fucking cookie jar, it's sure as hell hard to say otherwise. Like, why would you lend someone your account to qualify? If you can't qualify under your own merit, perhaps maybe you should just get good. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Goddamn loser. Holy shit. Oh my Christ. People are so dumb. And I think what annoys me the most is that person didn't even have, the strength of character to even, read it out themselves. They just put a wall of text for an apology video. Like, fuck off.
15
Throw
seconds
a
worth.
pair.
Just long enough to monetize, I think. Wait, is it 7 minutes or
Probably.
15 seconds? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's like,
Yeah. Clearly, this person's
sounds like
a loser.
the Colleen Ballinger apology when she pulls out the ukulele.
The who?
I remember that was so bad.
Who's that?
It's the toxic gossip train. No. I'm gonna have to show Imi. He's not well versed in YouTuber drama.
No, I hate it with a
I
passion.
love it. I
I
love
know.
the lol cows.
I know you love it.
Yeah, it's right up there with Midnight Society being shelved, and Dr. Disrespect gets to monetize his YouTube channel again. So there's that.
Yeah, that's fucking lame.
Yeah.
Well, it's like also like I've been going down the YouTube rabbit hole of like oh lordy it's Jordy and like Amberlyn Reed, and Amberlyn decided she was gonna take a pot shot at Jordy about like oh well you play in your mom's basement playing World of Warcraft and that's why you're so pale, and I'm like do you know how people play the MMORPG World of Warcraft? I'm like, now I know you definitely don't have friends.
Rep. Wrecked. I was about to say rip, and then it went to repped because brain go weird.
Have you heard about the 2006 world phenomenon known as World of Warcraft? Jesus Christ.
There's this thing called the internet. It is new. Have you heard of it before? Fuck off.
I
the
can say
world's
this
largest
because we
bag
all
of dicks
played World of
players.
Warcraft at one point or another. Hee hee.
Oh, yeah.
Mean bean.
I got like a whole
Yep.
other year's worth of subscription to fill out, and I haven't done anything with it yet.
Meme bean go burr.
All right, what else we got?
right.
Niantic is looking to sell their game division. Do you know who Niantic is?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, the whole
Pokemon
Go thing.
Yeah, that's what they're.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you wouldn't hear about Ingress, which is effectively Pokemon Go but techie and weird. But yes, exactly that. They're pretty much the pioneers of the Geo game. At this
They
particular
actually
point.
have another. They have another game too, kind of like Pokemon Go. It's called Peridot.
Oh, that must be a new one because they had what was it called? Ingress was their original.
Well, they have Peridot, which is a fairly new one, but I still play it from time to time. I haven't touched them a little bit, but I was active a couple of months ago for their Pride bundles for their little pets that you can collect. So it's it's interesting. You can actually feed them, throw toys at them. dig in different terrains and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just like they have a lot of different games. But I've heard the rumor is that Monopoly Go is interested in buying them.
I guess so. Out of curiosity, is Monster Hunter now, is that also Niantic? Or is that someone else?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, we're going to find out. Let's see here.
I am currently looking that up.
Monster Hunter now.
Niantic, yeah.
It is Niantic. So it's the same company. So,
Yep.
and believe it or not, it looks just like Ingress, Pokemon Go, and probably the other Geo games they have out. So, I tried Ingress at one point. I tried Pokemon Go. I think I'm good. Like, I had my stint. But yeah, but apparently there is a Saudi Arabian group that bought Scopely, and Scopely is the one that is looking to buy Niantic's gaming division. Let's see here.
Yeah, Scopely actually owns Monopoly Go and is partnered up with Hasbro for Monopoly Go. So that tracks.
Okay, well there you go. So yeah, looks like Niantic's giving up on that and giving it to
I
someone
wonder
else.
why.
I don't know.
Microtransactions. Yay.
It prints money. I don't understand why they would give up a stream of income unless like the popularity had dipped so far where they can't like support it, which would be weird.
Yeah.
No, but that's all speculation at this particular point. 'Cause it's just like, yeah, it's considering selling its video game portfolio. It's kind of like when Twitter accidentally said it was considering selling, and Elon Musk is like, "I got you, fam." Like, how about I just buy it, and then tried to back out, and they're like, "Oh no, you're on the hook. Sorry." Like,
Yeah. God.
I think that was the worst mistake of the decade.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll
Well,
see.
Sorry.
I think his mother not swallowing would have been the biggest mistake.
I don't know. I'm gonna make.
No.
I don't normally get like actual political here, but I have a feeling that within the next like 2 years, they're gonna find a lot more people on the White House lawn going, "What the fuck, man?" Like, don't get me wrong, Americans are dumb and stupid, because I am a dumb and stupid American. But it just comes down to like, you start taking our shiny fun things away, then we're gonna have problems. This is on top of like a guy that is a head of Department of Government Efficiency going places where he isn't supposed to because his department isn't real. And people can't figure out if he's supposed to be there or not. Like, what do you mean you don't know if he's not supposed to be there? If it's not a real division, get him the fuck out of there. Get him away from our Social Security numbers and our income taxes. Shit, man. Jeez.
Yeah. There's I have all kinds of concerns that
Oh?
you guys share. Cause what the fuck?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
considering
we
that
can
you're
talk
our
about that
hat,
later
that's where the
tonight
brain
if you
is, so
want.
you have to think about it a lot. Like, what the fuck's going on down
Yeah.
there?
Although I didn't realize it was that easy to buy your way into your government. Holy shit.
All you needed to
God
be is a
damn.
multi-billion-dollar tech oligarch. And you can go anywhere you want.
Apparently. God damn.
Speaking of social media,
Oh.
Uh-oh.
let's talk about Roblox.
You know, I didn't read that too much because a lot of the stuff in that article is talking about how they're trying to say that they're not a social media company. And
But I think it is, though.
I think you're right. And the reason why I'm going to say that you're right is because it is a platform where you can create items and share and chat and do all kinds of other stuff. You have a profile, people can leave messages. There is a whisper system, just like Facebook Messenger or Discord or something like that. So, like, it all exists in there. So, by all intents and purposes, even though it's a video game company, it's supporting a social media platform for video games. Underage video games at that.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna go far with that, honestly. They're like, we're not social, but you are.
They have like all the hallmarks of it. I didn't even think about it until I saw that article. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, I guess that would be it.
They're not gonna beat the allegations.
No, they're not going to beat those allegations. And you know who else is not going to beat allegations? That dude from Destiny 2 and Marathon, Christopher Barrett, and his $200 million wrongful dismissal lawsuit.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that guy. Dude is from Bungee. And just to give you an idea, because I read the article and the title does kind of summarize everything up. Sony responds to a Marathon reboot director's $200 million wrongful dismissal lawsuit, alleges disturbing communications with female employees, including sexually charged truth or dare. So this guy was fired for poor conduct.
Did he
And
do it?
he's claiming that Sony was looking for reasons to get rid of him so they didn't have to pay him out for his 25 years of service.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, but can you smell that, though?
Smells like misconduct.
It smells like bullshit is what it smells like.
Yeah, misconduct.
Yeah. So, anyway, like, some of the stuff that he was doing was, let's see here. I'll read the quoted text here. Let's see here. Barrett's list of accusations was long, but core to his argument was the claim of his firing was premeditated scheme concocted by so Bungee and Sony could avoid paying him nearly $50 million owed under his employment agreement. He additionally claimed he did not do anything remotely resembling gross misconduct or cause, and that's in a single quote, cause, as defined in the retention agreements, and there could not have been any credible allegation he did because he had a spotless 25-year track record at Bungee. And further into the quotes here, investigation revealed that Barrett's misconduct with each employee was consistent. He targeted a lower-level female employee, as one does. He wasn't working with directly, smart. Initially engaged in friendly conversation. That's what you're supposed to do at work, friendly conversation, and progressively pushed boundaries with the employee by making subtle references to her physical appearance or expressing his interest romantically, which is not something you do at all. It gets better. Are you ready? Barrett attempted to create an unprofessional level of intimacy with his victims. As Sony continued in the courtroom submission, he requested to follow personal Instagram accounts and would express anger to the women if they failed to respond to his messages. He would bring up inappropriate topics like their body, their relationship, his marriage, or his desire to date them. He would demand that they participate in sexually charged games of truth or dare and ask me anything. He texted them at all hours of the day and night. He offered to buy them gifts. He often referenced his wealth and his ability to advance their careers.
Of course, because creepy asshole goes creepy. Gotcha.
Yeah, I guess we can quid pro quote that.
Yeah. Well, it started going
Fucking
into more stuff as far as like what he was saying to these ladies, and it's like here. I think the first example is probably the worst. Let's see here. FaceTimed a female employee late at night while drunk despite requests to recognize boundaries, eventually moving to his bedroom and telling her, I can't believe I'm lying in bed while talking to victim one.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, needless to say, that was redacted. There's another one where he was just like telling her, you're the holy grail. I hope you find the person worthy of your attention. After employee responded and said she had a boyfriend who treated her very well, Barrett is said to have told her he better, because I would hit on you if he wasn't. He claimed he later made further contact writing, you want to be worshipped, I think. Why are you against that actually happening? So, yeah.
Ugh.
It's interesting. We're a gaming news podcast, or gaming opinion podcast, I think I should say. And we have opinions, and more often than not, we find ourselves lying squarely in like actual social issues.
That guy needs to have his. He needs to have a chainsaw vasectomy. I'm sorry. You don't fucking do that
I mean,
to
I'm
people.
I'm pretty sure they were right in their decision. I don't think a person like him actually deserves all that. Like,
No.
behind him.
No employee ever deserves that level of bullshit. That's disgusting. Like, no employee does, especially women in the IT industry. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That, like I said, he needs a chainsaw vasectomy. Like, you don't fucking treat people like that. That is creepy and it's gross. And really, it just proves to everybody how pathetic you are as a person if you think that conduct is acceptable. Like, you're obscenely pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you
This
such a
goes to show
loser?
you how power can
Ugh.
corrupt a person.
Oh, absolutely. I have way more preferred words to be using that are not podcast friendly, but suffice to say, that person's an absolute fucking loser.
Yep.
You don't treat people like that. That's disgusting.
Well, I'm sorry for bringing it up, but it was part of
Mm.
it was in the queue. So
Don't ever apologize for bringing that shit up, because
Ever.
it people that are not fucking morons need to hear about how often this shit happens. So hopefully, if they see this happening in their place of work, or regardless of whether it's, the IT industry, the food industry, if you're a mechanic working in a garage or whatever, if you hear that shit, fucking call it out right away. That is absolutely disgusting. You bury that person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you see someone doing that, you bury that person and end their fucking career, because that's gross. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, I get really cranky about that because it's absolute garbage.
It is
No one
garbage.
deserves that.
No, nobody should be doing that. Like,
No. Guys, like, these are your fucking coworkers. This is, the modern era of communications. You're going to be found out. You're going to be made fun of. And you're just a fucking loser when you do shit like that. There's so many other words I want to use that are just not YouTube friendly or podcast friendly, but god damn, just fucking grow up. Stop acting like an entitled fuckface.
well,
God.
in lighter things, Valve was in the news. We'll start with the fun one first, and that is Team
Okay.
Fortress 2 software development kit is now openly available for people to use.
That. That's so cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, because I haven't fired up Team Fortress 2 since, like 6-7 years ago, I think.
2020 for me.
Yeah. And even still, like, it's Team Fortress 2. I think when they started adding in, like, all the hats and everything else, I was like, I don't care about hats.
The hats and stuff have been around forever. I actually have one of the rarest hats available. Two of them, actually. One of them is the Cheater's Lament.
Ah,
And the Cheater's Lament is a halo you can wear. And it was during a time when Valve introduced a shit ton more hats into the game. And you had to unlock them through, various things like kill streaks, or, being the demo man, using a claymore, doing the pose he does where he swings his claymore around and beheading somebody, but that someone you behead had to be your nemesis. I think that was the unlock for it. So it was really hard to unlock that shit. And there was a lot of people who went and cheated and got all of the hats unlocked right away. So Valve caught wind of it and basically deleted all those hats and banned those accounts. And anybody who did not participate in the mass hat cheating got the halo as like a, hey, thanks for not cheating. It's really funny. I love it.
you received a hat for not cheating hats. That's awesome.
Not cheating to get hats, yeah. And then I have
you are a barcode of many hats.
yes. Yeah, the Cheater's Lament, the flavor text is, though some would stop at nothing to achieve hats, you remained resolute and incorruptible in your quest for head decorations. For that, you have been rewarded. Not tradable or marketable. The other one I have is another very rare one. It's the proof of purchase. And you could only get that if you actually bought the game.
Oh, wow. Like the orange box, or...
Yeah, orange box or straight up. But yeah, I got mine through the orange box because it came with a video card.
Okay.
Yeah. and the flavor text is on that is from another era. So you can't get that hat. And it's really awesome to run around with that one or the Cheater's Lament.
Oh, that's pretty crazy. All right. Well, there's
But
that.
yeah, when they went free to play and started selling hats, I thought that was amazing. Simply because it generates revenue and it doesn't mess with the game. Because some of those weapons are really, really good, especially when you add them together with the rest of like a set. The set bonuses are fairly good,
Mhm.
but the way they did it with just unlocking hats and all that stuff, that was awesome. I thought that was amazing and a really cool thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
I still have yet to go back in there in a long time because I want to go back onto a Pyroland map because I have the entire Pyroland or like Pyrovision set. It's so good.
Is that the one where it like changed everything to rainbow and unicorns?
Yeah, you
I
get
have
the
not seen that. You'll have to
unicorn.
show me that sometime.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so much fun. He's so happy, shooting bubbles everywhere while people are caught on fire.
It's awesome. So yeah, SDK, that's going to be awesome. Looking forward to new content coming out for that old engine. So I mean, I think before, I mean, you just load everything up into the source movie maker or source SDK, and you can pretty much make whatever you want with Valve's assets, which is fine, right? But seeing what you can do with actual access to a lot of the memory objects and changing up the game
Yeah.
in new and interesting ways, I might actually like download Team Fortress 2 again and just wait for awesomeness to come out and be like, hey, Amy, Crit, we should go blow some stuff up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's more so my kid's forte.
Okay.
It's,
Well, he can come too,
well,
because
I mean knows that my son plays Team Fortress.
Yeah.
let's
It's been
see.
since 2021 since the last time I fired it up.
Further, Valve seemingly bans all Steam games that require watching advertisements to play. I don't think I've ever run into a game on Steam that I have downloaded and paid for it where I've had to watch an ad to play, at which point I would probably refund it immediately. Because that's not
So
why I
that
play
was
PC
targeted
games.
more for like the free to play games.
Yeah, the mobile conversion ones, the ones where it's all baked into their. Yeah.
And if you watch a lot of Real Civil Engineers content, he's played a lot of games through Steam over the years that have required you to watch ads to progress in the game or get extra currency to unlock parts of the game or whatever. So I understand that. That makes sense.
Okay. Another legit thing Valve did. That's 2 in a row. And the third one, if you've ever played a game or downloaded a game called Pirate Fi, apparently it has malicious code in it. It's shipped with malicious code, and Valve's recommendation is to uninstall the game, run a virus scanner, and if you really want to be sure, nuke your operating system and reinstall.
Except if it's a persistent threat, in which case just buy a new hard drive and
Eh.
a new motherboard.
Those are rare, but when those happen, that sucks bad because it's
Yep.
just baked into the hardware, and you're like, well, I can do nothing because, like, yeah, I mean, you might be able to rebuild the master boot record, maybe, but
Well, it's not. So the MBR is nothing because you can just do check disk /MBR and that'll fix it. It's more if it's embedded in the firmware of the drive controller
ooh,
or if it's embedded in the UEFI, the newer version of what used to be known as BIOS. Because in BIOS you could not load additional drivers, you could not load additional firmware. Essentially, it was really difficult. With UFI, there is a lot of room to work with. You can actually load mini OSs in there. You can load additional drivers. I know my motherboard has a shell that can open up
oh, nice.
if you enable it, and it will give you basic web compatibility or capabilities. If you just want to browse the web without actually loading Windows, you can do that.
That's pretty nifty. I don't even know where you would get something like that.
It depends on the motherboard,
Yeah,
really.
yes.
But it's in that extra layer that the UFI provides that you can mount this sort of thing. So
Mhm.
when you get advanced persistent threats, they'll live in the firmware itself. And a boot record is simply just track 0 on a hard drive. You can just reformat it to fix that. But it's when it's on the actual drive controller, like the circuit board itself, that becomes a huge problem to deal with because at that point you just got to throw the hard drive away because no matter how many times you format the drive and remake that boot record, or the GUID partition table or GPT list,
Hmm.
it's in the firmware, so it'll still get reinstalled on that drive. And same with it being embedded in the UFI, no matter what drive you put in there, it's going to get infected. So at that point, or it may not even get infected, it just may live in the UFI, which can be accessed from Windows, and go work around that way. In which case, you're just buying new hardware, buying a new computer. Yeah, ATPs or advanced persistent threats are they're pretty messed. They're pretty cool in how they work, but they're also a giant pain in the ass to deal with.
Yeah, have you run into that before? I don't think I've ever run into anything that hard. Like that's at a different layer.
Professionally, that I'm aware of, no. Have there been security incidents in the various places I've worked over the years? Yes. Have there been some really bad ones? Yes. Did I ever find out what was the root cause? No. Which leads me to believe that there was some really nefarious shit going on. Not like, I don't think it was insider threat in some of those cases. I think it was some very significant penetration and compromise, and very complex compromise. I don't know if it was ATPs involved.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always fun when you drive into work and there's a hand printed email on everyone's desk saying all of your accounts are now disabled. You're like, oh, what's going on today?
Ooh, do I get to go home?
It's like your regular accounts are unaffected. Oh dear. So they've shut down all of our admin accounts. That's not good. So yeah, I've never professionally seen one that I've been aware of. That, like I said, that doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I'm just not aware of one professionally, but they do happen, unfortunately.
You know what else happens?
Hmm.
Sony getting sued for overpricing digital games in Dutch. That's the Netherlands, isn't it? I think so.
In where?
Dutch Consumer Foundation sues Sony
Oh.
for overpricing digital PlayStation games. I think if you ever watch Pirate Software, I know you have, Imi,
Yeah.
where he was talking about some of the benefits of like Steam and whatnot, and being able to like set your own prices in different regions, and it automatically like
Yes.
sets it across the world, which is kind of nice. I think he was his example was Argentina or Heartbound, right?
Brazil.
Oh, was it Brazil? Okay, well, it was
Yes.
somewhere in the southern hemisphere.
Brazil mentioned. Brazil goes crazy.
Yes. Brazil's party nation, man. That's great. But apparently, Sony doesn't let developers do that. Sony sets the prices, which means all of your antiquated games are full price no matter what. They
Yeah,
don't.
and that's gross.
Yeah, and this is on top of like they're in control of all of it, so they can't do anything. Like they'll still do sales like Steam and whatnot, but it's not in the hands of the developers. So the developers are completely.
Do you want people to sail the seven seas? This is how you get people to sail the seven seas.
Oh yeah. Right. And this is just on top of like all the other stuff that Sony's done, like mandatory usage of the PSN account, which they also got in trouble for again this last 2 weeks.
But don't worry, they removed the restriction on 40 additional countries. However, the
This-
Vatican, the Holy See, the one place you should be allowed to play Helldivers, because isn't that the goddamn Pope's job to dive into hell? Is still banned from playing Helldivers 2.
That was such a cinematic game. I really want to play it again, but I can't bring myself to do it.
I
That's
did with
probably
some friends that I
why
hadn't
the
seen in a
Pope's
while.
health is in critical condition, is because he can't play Helldivers.
There you go.
That's exactly it. Like, Sony, this is on you.
I want to kill
Let the
stomping
man
robots.
dive into hell and do his job. Like, goddamn, Sony.
And the victim in all of that was Helldivers, because they took a
Yeah.
dip in ratings, and they're just like, dude, we just developed a game. Like,
Well, and now they're at, I think they're hovering around 50% of the original player base, which really hurts. And for any game company or publisher, that's going to hurt a lot when you've lost that many players. And you can always argue that there is that honeymoon period and eventually it falls off. And yeah, you're 100% right in that regard, but at the same time, to lose more than 50% is kind of crazy. I mean, they're currently sitting at 71,000 people in game, which, isn't bad. But it still hurt a lot. And I mean, they also admitted that they didn't communicate that requirement very well themselves, and good on them for acknowledging that they screwed up there. But yeah, Sony sucks. And I think they're trying to compete with EA as to who could be the worst.
True. We're approaching, getting close to the end here. I think we're going to lightning round the rest of the stuff that I pulled out because it's a mix of stuff from last week and this week. This week, though, apparently Skibidi Toilet Studios looking to flush out Imitators in court. So, and this...
Did you clear that with Valve?
That's the other thing about it I was going to bring up. Let's see here. Another company is attempting to steal the IP according to the lawsuit. So, the idea of Skibidi Toilet, and if Cajun was here, he would totally tell you about it because his boy, Harrison, he's like, there's lore in Skibidi Toilet. Like, it's completely fleshed out. It's more than just a head sticking out of a toilet going, Skibidi bop bop, yes, yes.
Hold on, let me look this shit up.
Yeah, go for it.
It's a Skibidi Toilet Wiki. What?
No.
The very first episode in the Skibidi Toilet series, created by Da Fuck Boom. It marks the start of the war between the Alliance and the Skibidi Toilets. The episode was released on 7 February 2023 and signifies the beginning of Chapter 1. What the shit?
Flush it.
There's a plot. Yeah, flush the damn thing. Plot. The episode takes place in what appears to be an apartment, with the camera drone slowly approaching the bathroom in order to investigate the quote-unquote strange toilet activities happening in the area. A small G-Man from Half-Life 2 can be seen walking past the camera, and two cameramen stand on the side of the room near the bathroom. As the drone enters the bathroom, a poster of a woman screaming can be seen. The drone then stops at the toilet where the head of male_07 emerges from the toilet. It sings the song known as the Skibidi Toilet Anthem, which other Skibidi toilets also sing, before stretching its neck and attacking the drone, ending the episode. What the hell? What the fuck?
All right, there you go. Skibidi Toilet in the news. And that's just it, right? Because they're using all of the Valve assets inside of Source Movie Maker to create this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part where Valve would actually have a problem with it. But I think it's interesting that Valve is just like, yeah, no, Skibidi Toilet, fuck it, we ain't touching that. Like, go for it. Completely original and unique. Go for it.
Well, and I like that the Michael Bay's movie company tried to issue takedowns to the guy who created it. It's like, what? This person created this shit. Fuck off.
Try again. Yeah, no, I think you went after Gary and Gary's mod.
Yeah, and I think that's where people in the movie industry need to get their head out of their ass and actually look into something instead of going, oh my god, it's our thing, it's cease and desist. Well, wait, hang on a sec, fucko. Hang on a sec, fuckstick. When was the release date of whatever it is you're bitching about? And I think more people need to stand up and
give
fight
him a
against that.
Skibidi swirly.
Gross. So I could have gone my entire life without hearing that, but here we are.
What? You already have the head in the toilet.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Well, maybe just a little bit longer. Apparently, Critical Role is doing an Avowed one-shot. Because, I mean, Avowed is effectively in the Pillars of Eternity universe. So, that's a thing that's going to be happening. So, if you're into
it's
Critical Role.
What universe?
Pillars of Eternity.
I've never heard of that.
It's actually a really good game. It's I think Pillars of Eternity is actually think of like Icewind Dale, because I remember when Pillars of Eternity was released on Steam, like it was supposed to be reminiscent of Icewind Dale, and it is beautiful. It really is. I remember buying it when it first came out. Didn't get too far into it, but and by too far I mean like I played an hour and then it's just sat in my library. But it's not bad. Like it has all of your D&D tropes and has all the roles and everything else. And of course, since it's an older game, you know, you have all of the older rules for whatever system they're using. I can't remember where Pillars of Eternity came from. But aside from that, Pillars of Eternity 2 and Obsidian had actually been working on Avowed for at least 6 years. I remember, and it's gone through like 6 to 8 years. And I remember one of my buddies at work was telling me about it because it was supposed to be the next great thing. It's supposed to be what Skyrim should have been, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, that game gets compared a lot to Skyrim, kind of like how Palworld gets compared to Pokemon a lot, which, by the way, apparently a Japanese lawyer is like, yeah, 22 of the 23 patents that we filed for like litigation have failed. But
Wait,
that's
sorry, what was that? Run that by me again.
okay. I'll get you the headline. How about that? That probably explains it better. Japanese patent attorney burdened with the party pooper's knowledge says Nintendo having 22 out of 23 Palworld targeting claims rejected in the U.S. business as usual. Is business as usual. So all the stuff that
they use the shotgun effect to try to see what sticks.
Yeah, pretty much. In fact, they even have a name for it. It was called patent prosecution. So they'll keep continuing and modifying until something sticks.
Yeah, that's patent trolling. Is what that is. And we saw a lot of that in the early 2000s when it came to news aggregating websites. And like the whole patent troll wars of the early 2000s. I remember that shit.
No,
Now, kids, the 2000s were only 10 years ago. Fuck off. Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn.
Technically, 2000 was 25 years ago.
Shush, ma'am.
What?
Do not remind me of how old I am.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
So, yeah, there's that. Let's see here. What else is here that I give a crap about? Let's see here. We already hit up Sony. We already hit that. Court documents show not only did Meta torrent terabytes of pirated books to train AI models, employees wouldn't stop emailing each other about it. Torrenting from a corporate laptop doesn't feel right. And that's the title of this particular article on PC Gamer. Written by, where is it? Ted Litchfield. So that's a thing. I think they actually gave some actual numbers. 80 terabytes from LibGen and Z Library, which is called a shadow library for some reason. I assume it is where books don't get burned. I don't know what shadow library is unless it's referring to a mirror, right? So there we go. If you ever wondered where all of your AI stuff comes from when you use Meta's AI assistant, it's because they stole a bunch of shit. 80 terabytes.
Why am I not
worth.
surprised at this point?
I don't think anybody would be surprised. And I really like the top 10 that we did the last time that we did this, Imi, and I still have that top 10 from last week sitting in the chamber. So that one is 10 weirdest gaming peripherals of all time.
Huh. I would say, if I had to pick one, probably, do you remember that really old, oversized SNES joystick pad? Or like game stick pad?
I think I do. It had like 6 buttons and a stick, so you could use it like an arcade controller.
It was like a giant stick.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but that thing, or I would say the bazooka, the SNES bazooka.
Oh, I love the Super Scope 6. That thing was so much fun with titles that used it.
It was like, what, one?
No, there was like 4 or 5. The only reason why I know this is because when I was still in, was I in junior high or high school? My buddy, you know him as Nipple Salad, he actually got the console with the Super Scope because it came in a bundle. and he brought it over to my family's apartment, and we plugged it into our television, and it like the old television, like square with the convex convex screen, and actually it uses like a little photon fire in the back to like make this big pretty pictures, and weighed like
Yeah.
1,500 tons. Yeah.
You ever
Yeah.
lift a 40-inch projection TV?
Eh. So yeah, no, like that was a thing. He brought it over and we played. I forgot the release game that came with it and something else. It wasn't.
Oh, it's the Super Advantage. However, I didn't realize this until I just looked it up.
Uh-huh.
Did you know Super Nintendo had a mouse?
Yeah, it came with Mario
For-
Paint.
Yeah, I did not know that until right now.
Oh yeah, I played the crap
What
out of
about
Mario
you,
Paint.
What's your weirdest peripheral for video game or console ever?
For me,
Yeah,
I
what do you think is
remember the South Park game where they had the cow launcher or cow bazooka.
Oh, that was in the game, right?
Wait, what?
Was that in the game or was that like a physical thing you could hold?
It was in the game.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. Yeah, we're talking the like actual things you could use. So like
Oh,
yeah, the SNES mouse or the Super Advantage was the game control or the joystick thing I'm thinking of, or the RPG, the Nintendo glove. The hell is that thing called?
The Power Glove.
Power Glove. Yeah. What about you? Any old controllers or obscure things come to mind?
Or better yet, if
uh,
you don't have one that you remember, what about using interesting peripherals to beat games? Like I think
I mean,
Pink
honestly,
Kitty.
the only thing that I could think of, honestly, was it wouldn't be weird, but it was just Duck Hunt. Only
That
because
gun is insanely cool. Have you ever looked into how that thing worked?
no, I just always got pissed off at the dog.
I think we all did. I think every one of us tried to shoot the dog at some point.
I know the arcade game. You could shoot the dog, and he's like permanently injured for the rest of the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's in the arcade though.
I did not know you could do that. So where is it here? So the zapper was that gun. Um if I remember correctly, and someone in the comment section can, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you pulled the trigger, it would flash the entire screen white,
Mm-hmm.
except where the bird was or where the duck was. That would be dark, and this photo sensor would actually look for that dark spot. And if it could see the dark spot, then you register to hit. If you didn't, you would register a miss. I think is how that thing worked.
Yeah, I never looked at it. I'd have to go check it out. I always figured that if the black square wasn't directly in the center of the view of the
Yeah.
gun, then it wouldn't register as a hit because if
I think that's. Oh, I think that's how the thing worked. I would have to go look it up again, but. Oh, sorry. No, that it was the other way around. So when the zapper's trigger was pressed, I read Wikipedia. Look at me. The game causes the entire screen to become black for one frame. Then on the next frame, all valid targets that are on screen are drawn all white, as the rest of the screen remains black. The zapper detects the change in light level and determines if any of the targets are in the hit zone. If a target is hit, the game determines which one was hit based on the time of the flash, as each target flashes for one video frame, one after another. I did not know it was sequential. That's kind of cool. It can only be used on CRT displays, not on LCD plasmas or other flat panels,
oh wow,
due to display lag. There's apparently a citation needed. However, for you kids out there, a CRT stands for cathode ray tube, and those are very heavy TVs. And I don't know why I'm starting to sound like a southern old person, but oh my god, they're so heavy.
yep. I think you just
Uh,
described the thing I was saying that I played.
Man, those things were freaking. So one of the largest ones I ever lifted was a 32-inch CRT. That was a two-person lift. And you might think like a 32-inch, computer screen. What? I can pick those up with one hand. Yeah, that's not cathode ray tube. You don't know the pain of a 200-pound TV.
Eh,
Ugh.
32 inches is quite
God.
large. I mean, if you really want to think about it, my mother used to have a 30-inch or a 28-inch television or something like that in her bedroom, and we had like, you remember the old TV surrounded by wood?
Oh, the wood
Yes.
cabinets on them?
Yeah. Yeah, like it's like a piece of furniture with a TV stuck in it, which is kind of crazy. That thing never worked. We ended up getting it, so it ended up being just a table to put another television on top of. So I literally had a working TV on top of a non-working television. And I would have to move that television from the bedroom to the living room and living room to the bedroom, depending on where my mom wanted to be at that time. So there's that. But hey, 10 weirdest gaming peripherals. Before I get into that, though, I don't think I've used any weird peripherals to play video games, but I've seen video games beaten with interesting peripherals, like Dark Souls being done with a steering wheel.
I've
pedals.
seen Just Cause 3 beaten with the steering wheel.
There's the dance pad.
Oh, the DDR thing.
Yeah. So I've seen that. And I've never used
The
anything.
goldfish.
Or, you know what? A goldfish is an interesting peripheral. Twitch plays Pokemon.
What?
Oh, no, Fish plays Pokemon.
Right. Man, that goes years back.
Yeah, it does. All kinds of stuff. So, let's see here. We'll start it off. Number 10, the Dragon Quest Slime Controller. Here, let me get you this link so you can see these peripherals. I'll drop it into the Twitch chat. Hey! You didn't forget. You made it just in time, Banana Tune. So this comes from DualShockers, and it is written by, let me get a name, Monica Phillips. And she goes through, like, number 10 on here, the Dragon Quest Slime Controller. Apparently, that's it upside down. In order to play with that controller, you had to turn it over and hold the controller. So you had, like, this giant teardrop on the underside of the controller. That looks like one of the Dragon Quest slimes.
That's so weird. There was a game bike? What?
Yeah. Number 9, we just talked about it, the Power Glove.
Yeah.
It is essentially a big controller you could wear on one hand that will enable you motion controls. And yeah, I remember those being on sale and bundled for the regular NES at like Walmart and whatnot. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I always wanted to try one. What gets me, though, out of this entire list, they didn't put Robin here. But
Robin.
yeah. To Imy's, number 8, the game bike. Apparently, you would use that to play games. What was it for? Oh,
Doesn't say. Oh, for the PlayStation and PlayStation 2, apparently.
really?
It was to encourage fitness. But I don't remember that one, but I do remember the next one on this list, and that's the Booster Boy. And that was the thing that had a magnifying glass for the Game Boy screen and a light, like a backlight for it, almost. So you could actually see the screen at night, and or in low light levels, and it had the magnifying glass, so you could, better see your stuff. I remember that thing. That was a huge thing. I don't remember the Wii speaker. Nintendo Labo. Do you remember that? The cardboard like toys you could build together?
I do.
Yeah, they lasted, what was like 2-3 years, and then they finally get rid of them?
Yeah, well, I mean, they had some neat stuff. They just never expounded on it. Like, they gave you a fishing controller. They gave you a motorbike controller and steering wheel. What is that? Is that like Animal Crossing? What is that? Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's like a house that you stuck a controller in. I don't even know how you would play that. And, no, if you look in the lower right-hand corner, you see like a little house and like what looks like controllers stuck in other things? What do you call it, a Toy-Con? Well,
I don't know.
neither do I. Anyway, Labo was an interesting idea that never panned out. The Game Gear TV tuner for all.
I remember that a friend of mine growing up, he had one.
And I think back in that time when everything was still wired all to fuck, like the entire idea of wire, like we barely had wireless phones, and not like cell phones, wireless phones in our house at that particular point.
Those were called cordless phones.
Oh yeah, cordless
Most
phones.
of them at the time operated on the 49 megahertz channel, which meant that if you had kids' walkie-talkies, you could hear phone conversations every now and then. That was super funny.
I remember buying. Are you familiar with Sound Blaster, Amy, or Crit?
Oh God.
No.
Okay, Sound
Yeah,
Blaster
yeah.
is a company that makes a video card called Sound Blaster, and I ended up buying the studio version of the Sound Blaster Live because I was like, why not? I mean, it was cheap enough. I think it was like $120 or something like that. And like it did a great job processing all the audio on board and everything else, which is really great. But I had a set of speakers from Cambridge Soundworks,
hmm
and those magnets would pick up those frequencies. I could hear my neighbors talking on their cordless phones.
Baby monitors could be used to listen into people's conversations.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that shit was awesome. That was like insane back then.
yep. Number 3 was the 360 Connect. Connect had is another device that had a lot of potential.
Yeah. And
Um,
was justly / unjustly called racist right out of the box. And
it was called racist out of the box. Why?
yeah, so when they first came out, and this really highlights why it's going to trigger some people, and I can't wait. This really highlights why diversity, equity, and inclusion matters, because if you were black and you bought the Xbox 360 controller or the 360 Connect in its initial run of release, if you were in a low light or a non-white background and you were a black person, it had a hard time seeing you and even using the facial recognition to actually let you use the Xbox.
Wow.
Because and that stems likely, and of course there was never any official confirmation, but that likely happens when you get lighter skinned people testing products, designing products for lighter skinned people. And it's not that they do it maliciously, it's just if that's the people you work with, that's who you're going to test on, right? Like it's, hey, so and so, Steve over in accounting, I need you to go stand in front of that wall and see if this works. Oh, look, it worked. But if you don't have that mindset of having a very inclusive and diverse, you know, roster of employees to work with, it's a lot harder to test it amongst different people to make sure the damn thing works. And, I don't think it was done intentionally, because there were some people like, oh, they did this intentionally. No, I think it was purely a mistake and purely based on the fact that people didn't realize that darker skin tones may not work with that. So Microsoft's solution was to tell people, if you've got darker skin tones, make sure you have bright lighting and a very bright, like almost like a white background to work against. But even then, when you turn on your Xbox, 'cause my ex-girlfriend had one of these as well, there was a warning that said it still may not work if you had darker skin tones. Oops.
That seems legit. I got a little bit of a story behind that one too. But this was for the Xbox One when it was released, like the old brick, right? I was over at my buddy Dave's house, and he had it all set up. He was a company guy. He's like, yeah, we're totally doing it. But he kept trying to use the voice commands for the damn thing, and walking by it and stuff, because it's supposed to like log you in, because at that point the Xbox One was supposed to be the center of your entertainment, right?
Yeah.
So it has like, TV in, so you can plug in your cable box or satellite box or whatever. It had the TV out, and it had a lot of really cool features, which is kind of nice. But it was funny because I was staying with him for a few days, and he kept like, Xbox on, getting up, waving around, jumping up and down. And I walked by the Kinect because I had logged in for something. I think I was playing a game with him. It was a golf or something, I can't remember. I had walked by, and the Xbox, like, after he'd like taken the controller and turning it on and everything else, I walked by and it was like, hey, let me. Shit.
Yeah, it would randomly turn on in the apartment and be like, what the fuck is with this possessed thing? And I did not like it. Because
Well,
it had the always on, like always listening microphone,
yeah.
waiting for those specific voice commands, and that shit bothers me to no end. Because it reminds me of the Roomba issue that happened a couple years ago. Ugh. I don't know if you know about that one.
Oh, yeah, I think we talked about it. The one where the people were able to like wirelessly hack the camera on a Roomba to see what's going on.
Well, they didn't hack them. It was the employees. A batch of
Oh,
employees
that's
were
right.
just because the visual recognition of the software has to be reviewed by a human to make sure that yes, that is indeed a wall. That is not just a human shin in the way, and you know, don't freak out. It's not a wall type thing. But they were using it to review all pictures, and people get really comfortable around technology, which bothers me on a different level. But people were, taking a shit, and they would let the vacuum in, and not realizing that this visual recognition is viewed by a human potentially, and these employees were actually looking for bathroom footage or changing footage from these robots as they go through and do their job. The robot is seeing, oh, that's a human body, avoid it, but it will move, and it's not something to be like, oh, that's a permanent fixture, I have to avoid it. But they weren't realizing it that someone may actually be watching you change as you're getting naked in front of your robot. And turns out, yeah, people were acquiring said imagery.
Yeah, I
And
think it
yeah, that's
was.
what bothers me about the 360 Connect is it's that same correlation of like, I don't trust it. Like
If
straight up, I don't trust that shit.
if I remember correctly, didn't I think Alexa had an issue something like that too, with it's always listening, right?
Yes, I think we
A
even
little
touched on that
bit,
in
but
one of our earlier
also,
episodes.
if you have an Alexa, you can actually listen to if you watch the South Park movie that makes fun of it,
Oh,
they
it,
will
dude,
actually,
dude.
they, they will actually, in the movie, they will trigger your Alexa.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I remember a lot of radio shows and whatnot for people to listen to radio in their own house, which I don't understand why you would do that nowadays. But yeah, no, like, he's like, yeah, just say, hey Alexa, set this for X. And I do that on purpose so that way Alexa's confused in case you're listening to this out loud. So,
um, I remember semi related. It was related to Google Glass. You
oh,
remember those
oh.
was it augmented reality glasses that Google was selling?
I remember those. I also remember the douchebag package, which was like a Cybertruck, and the dude like exiting the Cybertruck with his Google Glass, like pinching stuff and moving
I
stuff
don't know
around.
if it ever happened, but there was someone who I don't remember where I saw it. They were, I think it was on Reddit or something. They were joking around that they like to go wander around Sacramento or no, San Francisco, looking at people wearing these things, walk right past them or run right up to them and yell out Google image search and then a very specific goat and then run away. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, good, keep it that way. For the rest of you that do, now that's burned in your head that you would actually see that with augmented reality right in your face. Ugh.
Now, let's get done with these peripherals. We got two more. One, see here. On number 2 on the list is the Onimusha 3 Demon Siege Katana controller. And
I've never seen that before.
on the surface, that sounds like an awesome controller if you're doing a sword fighting game. And I remember correctly, Onimusha is a sword fighting game.
6 tiny buttons,
6 tiny
followed by the
buttons.
left stick, the D-pad, and then the right stick, all plotted along a single line, which is as uncomfortable as you would imagine. Oh god.
And then you have to
Oh,
swing the
that's a
thing.
terrible picture. I'm gonna link the picture into chat here so everyone else can suffer the way I just did.
Okay, let's see what it looks like.
That is a garbage layout. Holy crap. Chat. Here you go.
Let's see here. It's an impractical controller that somehow has every input you need to play most games, and since no one ever wanted it and are only rediscovering it due to how weird it is, it now goes for $1,000. So if you want to play with it, you totally can, but it's going to cost you $1,000.
No thanks. Banatune was saying they have the original PS2 controller and they could easily break it by hand. Yeah, apparently those things were flimsy as hell. Like the original first release PS2 controllers.
Oh yeah, of course that was them also separating their contract from Nintendo because Super Nintendo was supposed to have a CD-ROM drive, and I think they were going to go with Philips. And like, fuck that, we're going to go with Sony. And Sony was just like, and then they decided to ditch it all together after the tech was built, and they were like, fuck it. Philips produced the CDI, if you're familiar with that console.
Oh yeah.
And of course, Sony was just like, well, let's see what we can do with this CD tech, and that's where the PlayStation came from.
What the fuck, Katana is? That Katana controller. Yeah, that, and then look at the button alignment on that banana. Like, that is awful. I can't imagine having my hands oriented in a way that I would need to shrink my fingers down just to be able to use it comfortably.
Which means there's no motion controls on it, and honestly, you would be better off with a flute controller at that particular point, so that way you can at least play some music while you play.
Yeah, that's a pile of garbage.
Yep. $1,000 pile of garbage. And number one, the DK Bongos. It was designed for one game and one game only. Can you guess what that game is?
Super Wagon Adventure.
Donkey
Super
Kong
Amazing
Jungle
Wagon
Beat.
Adventure.
You know, if there was a way to hack that, to do that, I would totally do that. But I'm not a maker, so I couldn't do that. Let's see, what does it say? What was it?
Entire buttons, 2 on each bongo, one in the middle, and an extra input wherever you clap, or whenever you clap, which all reads as standard GameCube inputs and can theoretically be used to play any game that supports that controller. Weird.
This means that you can try to play Smash Ultimate with DK Bongos with limited success, or hook them up to your computer and do a quick playthrough of Sekiro while clapping the beats, since it's a rhythm game and all. You know, Sekiro is very much a rhythm game. So, there you go. There's 10 crazy peripherals over time. Nice. Good stuff.
My friends had a Power Glove. I don't think we ever got it to work.
Yeah, probably not.
It looked cool. And if you're familiar with, oh shit, which David Hasselhoff movie is that? God. Kung Fury. Yeah, that's the movie. You need to watch the movie, Kung Fury from 2015. It is on YouTube for free. Highly recommend you watch it.
Okay.
But there's a character in there who has the Nintendo Power Glove. And if you've ever looked up the animated GIF called Hacker Man, and you see someone wearing one who pushes their glasses up the bridge of their nose, that's that movie. And that movie, my God, it is one of David Hasselhoff's greatest masterpieces of cinematography. Because there is a ton of kung fu, Hacker Man, of course, T-Rexes, and Nazis getting their asses kicked. What more could you want in a movie?
Yeah, no, that tracks. No.
It's such a good movie. I will have to put it on for us one day because it is so bad. It's amazing.
I'm down. I thought about doing like movies and whatnot in Discord anyway, so I did
It's
that
like-
once with the anime, but I think I ended up watching like 3 seasons of Dr. Stone by myself, which is fine. So,
It's like, what was it? Oh, what the hell movie? Kung Pao, Legend of the Fist, but good. Have you not seen Kung Pao, Legend of the Fist?
I have.
Okay. So that movie from Hasselhoff is like that, but way better.
Jeez.
Much, much better.
Fair enough. Okay, that's all I have in my bin. So let's talk about what we're doing. I guess Cajun's not going to make it tonight, and that's fine. D&D is D&D. So,
Understandable.
Crit, what are you doing this week?
Well, I took up an extra shift for tomorrow for work. Let's see, and then tonight probably gonna be watching some Pet Patrol.
Oh, very nice.
That's my go-to. It's my religion, I guess you can say.
Fair enough. It's
Friday
a lot of
night,
fun.
date night.
Perfect. Awesome. Amy, what you got going on?
Other than on patrol, I did something I rarely do on Steam. I wrote a review for a game.
Oh, got a link?
I do, and I actually did put it in general gaming in the Discord.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's a very short game. It takes about a half hour to play. It is called The Were Cleaner. The premise being is you are a janitor who works night shift, and you happen to be a werewolf.
mm,
Now, my review, like a lot of others, started off with the famous words of, "Why the hell can't I pay for this?" It's a free to play game, no gimmicks, no nothing. It's just, I think it was released as a proof of concept by the developers,
mm-hmm.
and it is amazing for a game that is completely free, no strings attached, no microtransaction bullshit, nothing. It very much comes across as a tech demo,
Mm-hmm.
or no, that's it's not necessarily a tech demo, but just as a proof of concept release for the developer, and it's a lot of fun. It's a blast to try and run around as a cleaner and clean up messes, all while being a werewolf and dodging your coworkers. Because if they see you, they're going to scream, and if you get scared, you tend to eat them, and then you have a literal bloody mess with chunks to clean up.
Chunks.
Yeah, like intestines and shit goes flying everywhere, and it's good fun. I really enjoyed it. I do actually legitimately wish I could pay for the game because it is a lot of fun. I think, even if the game was like $5, that's more than worth it. It was absolutely a blast to play. And like I said, I reviewed it, and I think I've got like 3 reviews on my entire account.
Mm-hmm.
And I can read it off because I use the meme template of like, you know, the graphics. You forget what reality is: beautiful, good, decent, bad. Don't look at it too long. Paint.exe. I don't know if you've seen that template, but it's a fantastic one to use. But the actual review reads as follows: My only complaint is, why can't I pay for this? Seriously though, it's a blast to play. It's a blast to play a homicidal were cleaner. I mean, who doesn't want to kill and then consume Karen from accounting, who just won't shut up about how she had to talk to the manager at KFC last night? No one cares, Karen. No one likes you. I'm glad I got to eat you, and your Christmas cookies are garbage. That's my review.
Very nice. On a side note, in the same vein as Were Cleaner, have you checked out Power Wash Simulator?
I do believe I own it. Let me check my library here. No, I do not own it. I know there's the Warhammer
That's what I
update
was about
for
to
it.
bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was released, what, 2 years ago now?
Year and a half, two, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they were
Yeah,
hyping it up.
Yeah, I was very, very much interested in getting it. I don't know if I'll actually get the game. It's not even on my wish list. That's probably gonna slow me down. Slow me down a little bit. There's a Shrek special pack as well. No thanks. I think so. The thing is, I really enjoy Viscera cleanup detail, and I really wish there was more releases for that and more DLC because I had a blast playing that.
Yeah, I think multiplayer in Viscera is supposed to be pretty cool.
It is. It's way too much fun because there's actually a couple missions where you almost have to do it as multiplayer just to complete them, because there's various things that happen that will prevent you from doing that or succeeding. So yeah, I had a blast. I played a bunch with Bomb Redeemer well before my voice gave out. About 6 or 7 years ago, we played a bunch of it.
Mm.
I played live on stream once when I used to stream, and then a couple of the videos went up on my YouTube channel as well back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, good stuff. Cool. All right.
What about you? What are you up to?
I'm just coming off of 2 weeks of vacation, so I go back to work Monday. I've been playing a shit ton of Satisfactory, which has been a lot of fun. I think I'm now clocked in over 100 hours. Let me go take a look. But let's see here, 131 hours so far, and I haven't even made it to like phase 3. Like, I've just been running around and doing some optimizing and building stuff, playing with blueprints, and doing some interesting things. Right, so But yeah, I don't have much else going on except for the podcast next week. I need to get back into streaming a little bit, but I've got some stuff I have to take care of before I do any of that. So for now, podcasts every Saturday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. And you get to visit us. Crit, Amy, and Lumi, and sometimes maybe Cajun.
Yeah,
Or-
most of the time we have Cajun. Sometimes,
Yeah,
and I understand D&D getting in the way because D&D is hilarious.
yeah. Well, I need to figure out if
especially when
that's
you get the nickname.
I need to figure out if that's going to be a permanent thing on Saturdays. If that's the case, we may have to readjust to what we're doing. That way, we can have him on a free day.
That can always be done.
Mm-hmm.
And same with Crit, if her hours change, we can always, figure out a new time for the podcast. Whatever works.
Pretty much. I'll talk with Cajun this week, see what he has to say. So I don't know if this is like a one-time thing, because this is when everybody was available, and then it's going to be on like Wednesdays or Sundays moving forward, or what. But whatever it is, we'll figure it out.
We might actually, Raina and I might actually have D&D this weekend.
Really?
I'm really looking forward to it again, because my beautiful little boy, my robot boy, he needs to experience flight again. My Discord name in that server has been changed to the Department of High Speed Impacts.
I thought that was my raccoon when I got myself yeeted in that tournament.
No, you didn't get that name. I got it because I jumped into the chest of holding. Basically, it was a bag of holding, but chest size, and I decided to see what happened if I would jump in. So I fell, and eventually I reversed directions and flew out of the chest, impacting one of the players. And I thought I had been there for an entire minute, which would have had a significant blast radius from the impact. I was only in there for 6 seconds or one turn, which still, was enough to severely injure / kill the player that I flew out of the chest and impacted.
Okay.
But the calculations for 1 minute of free fall in a vacuum and then turning around and getting ejected was absolutely hilarious. I actually had to run it through ChatGPT to get some of the math done right, because there was math. There was a lot of math. But yeah, I did the airspeed velocity of a laden raccoon being thrown. It wasn't that bad. I mean, she was flying in the air at about 36 kilometers an hour, about 22, just under 22 and a half miles an hour.
Okay.
Being thrown a very short distance. But the chest of holding, the math worked out that I had as much energy as, I think it was 1 ton of TNT on the impact. Like, it was insane. Structural damage, so ChatGPT went through the actual structural damage, the blast radius, environmental contamination, ground and terrain disruption, otherwise known as deformation, and rewriting your goddamn topical maps because entire terrain features have been removed. The real world equivalence of the impact force, if I had fallen for 1 minute and then launched out, would have been around 848,000 newtons of force. And by comparison, a Boeing 747 at cruising speed and altitude generates about 500,000 newtons in drag force alone. An African elephant can exert 100,000 newtons of force when it's charging. So I had the equivalent of 8 African elephants charging when I slammed into that guy.
Oh, wow.
A light truck does about the same as an elephant at about 30 miles an hour. A tank shell from, a tank explodes with a force of about 500,000 newtons. So it's a little bit more than a tank shell explosion. It's like a high explosive anti-tank or heat round. Been slightly more than that. Slightly less than a large falling boulder.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Slightly less than an explosion of TNT. It didn't specify the volume of TNT, but yeah, no, it was good times.
Good stuff.
They
All
went
right.
through the physical trauma of what would have happened to the poor person that's landed too. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like the ecological damage was my favorite part, I think. And then like the key damage zones, the immediate impact of 0 to 50 meters, complete destruction of structures and environmental features like rocks, trees, and buildings, total annihilation of anything in this zone, including severe injury or death to any living creature, likely a large crater formed at the impact site. This is what I use ChatGPT for.
Very nice. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks for stopping
Yeah.
by. Come back next time. What are we? 88, 89? Which episode is this?
This is 89.
89. Let me look.
SMORT episode.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, sure enough. Okay, so with that being said, we'll see you guys next week, hopefully. If not, keep an eye out on Blue Sky and I don't know, follow me on Twitter. And of course, this will be released on Monday.
Co-op between
Don't
Lumi
forget.
and Amy in Power Wash. Oh no.
Don't be a dick.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Stay
Stay-
classy, be nice. Don't be a dick.
Yep.